How can such a pretty wife make such bad coffee?
I heard that.
I still say don't serve your awful coffee with my steaks.
Honey, your coffee's undrinkable.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the fun 100th Riff by Rangoon's Type of Eventuality, celebrating 100 instances of those two dipsticks talking over other people's occasionally hard work, with special guests to be revealed. And now your host and yours, the mysterious Malefactor.
Thank you. I'm the mysterious Malefactor, your host for this special super dense riff. And let's meet the male types of the hour. You know them. Sonny Jim.
Alright, I got a pattern. Oh! Crackalopes! My pants were insufficiently steppy! Huh?
And Starchable T. Rangoon.
That's because it was pulsating like a boss's weak spot and... Huh?
Yes, the beloved memories keep flooding back, despite the medication.
What the hell are you talking about?
This is our 100th riff, guys!
Huh. Is it?
I ran the numbers. Between our runs on Flip and YouTube and counting those two-part episodes as a single riff each, we got 99 riffs. So, in celebration of hitting triple digits, I put together this celebration. I even reached out to your fellow video makers to share in the fond memories.
Yeah, and how'd that work out for you?
You've got mail.
First one just came in. Let's see. Oh, it's your favorite bootleg toy and bootleg animation reviewer, Phaelus.
So, when are you guys actually going to put out that food fight review you got me to do some stupid stuff 4 years ago?
Yes, one at the line. And there'll probably maybe be more as we continue with this extra special riff of a 30-minute video.
Wait, what?
It's a bodacious slice of big 90s cyber cheese all about that very thing that's made your E-list YouTube series possible. The internet.
Yeah, cool beans, but what was that about 30 minutes?
It's called cyber surfing, the internet for the rest of us.
How long is...
Big deal 100th riff, jackasses.
Half an hour. So long video engagement metrics.
Ugh. It's a bold choice, making your logo out of jellied vomit.
What are they implying?
Scratch, get out of there!
In 1969,
Nice.
military officials set up a network of computers so that scientific institutions could exchange information electronically. In other words,
nerd stuff for dorks.
Each other. It was called the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network,
Or Spectre.
About a decade later, ARPANET began using a communication standard that opened the door to
And
an
got on the
extremely
floor
rapid
and allowed
expansion.
countless hundreds to walk the dinosaur.
In the late 70s and throughout the 80s, ARPANET connected with the National Science Foundation's network, which was connected with networks like Usenet and BitNet.
And the
all
anime
these
gifs flowed
connections,
like wine.
linking computers and networks around the world, created what is known today as the Internet.
And our extinction was guaranteed.
The Internet is a vast, totally decentralized and global network that is
telecommunications agencies are desperately trying to carve up into monopolistic serfdoms at maximum profit for minimum service.
It's estimated that over 12 million people use the Internet every day, with an annual growth rate of 100%. In just a few years, the Internet has gone from being a place populated mainly by scientists, academics, students, and techies, to a place full of regular folks like you and me.
Wow.
So
I haven't been
the
regular in
Internet become
years,
so
and
popular?
everyone knows it.
Well, having instant access to just about any information you could possibly want is pretty irresistible. And there are
Did
dozens
damn
of different
Faust.
ways to find that information, no matter where it is. People have been using the internet for years to exchange email. And there are tens of thousands of public forums called newsgroups on the internet where
Now
people
used
share
primarily by
information,
Russians to distribute
debate,
dashcam
and chatter
footage.
about any and every topic you can imagine.
Ooh, I just got a sudden
Over the
craving for
years,
pogs
several
and
methods
slap
of
bracelets.
navigating the internet have been developed. But the all-round easiest, most popular, and most visually exciting way to get around is on the World Wide Web.
Visual excitement has
Using
not
an
been adjusted
extremely
for
intuitive
inflation.
software program called a browser, you move through the web by clicking on hypertext links that can take you from place to place. You can click your way around the world in 80 seconds, or
And
less.
by around the world, she means to some really freaky porn.
Cyberspace, the information highway, the internet.
The
I know you're
electrostatic
interested.
knitting circle.
You've been hearing about it, you've been reading about it, but with all the hype and information out there, hopping on the internet might seem complex.
An on
Even a
button
little
is
scary.
complex?
Well,
Remember, this is
I'm
a
here to tell you
historical
it's a
artifact.
lot easier
And if
than
they
you
start talking
probably
about curing
think.
syphilis with mercury, I'm out of here.
In this program, we outline the hardware and software tools you need and tell you how to find a good internet provider.
Remember
We're
having a
focusing on
choice?
providers that
Yeah,
offer what are
CompuServe,
called
Prodigy,
PPP
or the stack of
connections to
free
the internet,
AOL sign-up
because
CDs
it's the
that
most
forms a
economical
load-bearing
way
beam
to
in the
get
living
most
room.
out of what the internet has to offer.
Oh, hi there, X and Y. This is, Internet Personality Vangelis, here to remind you of all the fun times, good laughs, and hijinks adventures that I shared with, Scummy John and Stanhope. Yes, fun times. I was shot. Anyway, this has been Scummy Hope Johnsonality Stangelis, signing off.
Frank Oz?
Or the platonic ideal of a 9th grade geography teacher.
After we get all that technical stuff out of the way,
Dang,
we'll hop
she's
online
mic'd up
and
so
check
well you
out
can
some
hear
of
her in the next
amazing
province.
things you can do and places you can go out there in cyberspace. Just a minute. I think Mr. Newby's here.
Newmy? Hey, wait a
Mr.
minute. You're not
Newby.
real star of
How are
Baywatch
you?
Michael Newmy Newman.
You know what?
You're
I think
Jackson
I'm ready.
Davies.
You ready to go
Charlatan.
Surfing? No, I thought you were going to teach me how to get on the internet. Oh, surfing on the internet. Yeah, well, I read all the
there's
books
the
my
acting
family
chops that
gave
got him
me.
his role in
You know,
Freddy
get
Got
hooked
Fingered.
in or turned on or wired or whatever, but what I really need is help!
And that's what he said after he was in Freddy Got Fingered.
You?
Hold on. Listen, getting on the internet is not all that tricky.
Getting off it is downright
Well, it's
Herculean.
getting easier
Hell, I'm
every
checking
day,
Twitter on my
especially with
phone
all
right
the
now.
advances in software. You didn't really need to bring all those books today.
I don't know, they're pretty important.
No, relax. They'll come in handy later on.
The
But they'll make a
cockroaches
lot
get
more
really
sense after I
feisty
give
around
you some
6
basic
p.m.
information and teach you a few surfing skills.
Yeah, but we're going to work that World Wide Web thing.
World Wide
huh?
Web,
Yeah.
absolutely. I guarantee by the end of today, you'll be taking your wife and kids surfing on the net like you were a pro.
Yes!
Unpack that
It's gonna
statement,
be a lot
and
of
you're
fun,
bound to find
but
human
it's really
teeth.
also useful stuff to know because the internet is the way we're going to be doing just about everything in the future.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Estimates
wanna
say
learn,
that
huh?
pedantry
Okay,
will
listen,
be
put
fully
your notes
mechanized
down
by
and take a seat behind
2023.
my computer.
Great, thanks.
What a
At the end of this program, we'll give you a list of World Wide Web hotspots, an index of sites
That'll
that let
be
you
amusing.
download useful internet software right into your computer, and
And
other places
Newbie has
of
already
interest
bricked her
that'll
hard
help you
drive.
become a more skilled and knowledgeable navigator. As you'll discover, the best place to find out about the internet and how to use it is, in fact, the internet itself.
I'm not saying she's
This
wrong,
is a
but that's also
powerful
how
computer.
cults
Does that
describe
mean
their
I'm gonna have to buy
literature.
a new one?
Probably not. But it's important to figure out
Who
what
are you
already
talking
have
to? Why
and
are
what
you
you're going
ignoring
to
me? I'm
need.
so lost.
Okay, here's what you need. A computer with a mouse, a modem, some internet software,
Punch card
you need to
reader.
find an internet
Staff of
provider,
technicians to yank
and you've
mods
gotta
from the
have a phone
circuits.
line. If you've got call waiting, you'll have to disable it before you go online.
And if you have
And
complaints,
remember,
the
if you're
telephone
still in the
exchange is
market for a
Klondike
computer,
5.
Make sure you tell your dealer that you'll be using it to access the internet. Okay, here's the hardware we recommend. We'll start with IBM-based PCs.
Everything else
Your
is just a
computer should
speak
be
and spell
a
cosplaying as a
486
real computer.
DX66 processor and have as large a hard drive as you can afford, preferably 400 megabytes.
Ooh, that's enough space for a whole rifflet. Fancy!
4 megabytes of system RAM.
RAM, that's random access memory.
Right! And because of
shut
all the
your yap and
graphics
don't
you'll
go off
encounter on
script
the
again.
net, I recommend 8 megabytes of RAM or more.
Yes, mistress.
Now, most computers come with an operating system installed. What system do you have again?
I'm
Coleco?
Windows.
Great, that's a good basic operating system that you can run additional internet software on top of.
Additional software. Oh,
You mean a calculator?
NetNasac?
No, actually, it's internet in a box. And that's one option.
Now, you'll find plenty
program
of sacks
and another
after you
one
get
called
online. Don't worry
Chameleon
about that.
Packages or suites that include all the tools you need for the most popular internet functions. And there's a lot more products like those coming out on the market. And they
That's
only
how
cost
Babbage just
around
spots the suckers.
$150 US. However, take a look on your screen and tell me what you see.
Well, I see a couple of trumpets, a nice looking inn, and something that looks like a gopher.
Found a dark corner of
would it
DeviantArt
surprise you to
decades
know
early, I
that
see.
Those are all reliable, user-friendly software programs that I obtained for free.
What, you stole
For
them? I can't
free?
believe it. That's illegal.
No, newbie. I haven't broken the law.
And the law hasn't won.
Later.
So, when are you going to release that food fight review you had me do?
There are dozens of excellent freeware and shareware programs that run on top of Windows that are super easy to get your hands on.
And
Of
Nintendo
the
really
tools
wants
you
to
see on
shut
the
many of them
screen,
down.
The most important is a shareware program called Trumpet Windsock.
That's the name of my Hobbit-based P-Funk folk covers band.
And I'll explain what it does a little later. Some operating systems, like OS2 Warp and Windows 95,
As advanced as
include
Canadian cloning has gotten, they still
and
haven't
other
quite
internet
mastered the
software
Gillian
that is
Anderson
ready to
yet.
use. But
An
remember,
admirable
you can
attempt,
always
though.
add other software to these systems. The equivalent Macintosh setup is
Was
System
being coded
7.5,
while you were still learning
which
to
comes with a
spell your
TCP/IP
name.
program called MacTCP. If you've got an older model, you'll have to buy a copy of MacTCP for around $40 US.
Wow,
And
that's only
remember,
like 4
there are Mac
bananas.
versions of most of the freeware and shareware programs we'll be using today.
Now, what about modems? I've got a 9600. Is that going to be good enough?
You disgust
Trying
me.
to invest in a faster modem.
Oh, great. What's that going to cost?
Well, actually, a good name brand internal modem isn't
I
going to set you
am
back too much. Maybe it'll cost
modem.
you $100, more or less. Now, 14.4K modem. will
Mobile
work
organism
fine,
designed
but
for
it's the
electronic
absolute
mail.
Minimum speed. For a little bit more money, I think you should get a 28.8K modem. Because for now, at least, it's the best way to dial up your PPP account
PPP.
using your TCP/IP software.
Wait a minute. The PPP, ICP,
TCBY.
You're right. I better explain. Transmission Control Protocol over Internet Protocol, known as TCP/IP.
Somewhere in the world, a Canadian deep cover agent has just activated and is now preparing to assassinate the head of the American Maple Syrup Council.
By breaking up the information into packets and sending them on their way. And whether you have a Mac or PC type of computer,
The
you must
fires
have
of
a
Hellowait.
TCP/IP
For the Lord's
program
one true
to make
computer
your
is the
SLIP or
Amstrad
PPP connection to the internet.
GX4000.
Ah, yes, the PPP connection. A great movie by Gene Hackman, late 60s.
Way to cock block my R. Kelly greatest hits
SLIP
joke,
stands
newbie.
for Serial
Points
Line
to you.
Internet Protocol, and PPP stands for Point-to-Point Protocol. Having one or the other doesn't make a difference in terms of what you see on the screen.
But it will change what you
PPP
see
is
in your
considered
nightmares.
technically better. With SLIP or PPP access, you and your computer have your own identity on the internet.
You are now
So when
Humboldt
you buy
Pilkington,
SLIP
a
or
Balkan
PPP
antiquities
connection
dealer.
from an internet provider, you're essentially being given a direct pipeline to the internet ocean.
And free license to flush your waste into its waters.
Surfboard out for a test drive.
Soon. But first I want to take you over to my local internet provider.
Weirdos in
which is
the
place
future
that
will
I
find
dial
it
up to make
antiquated
my
and
PPP
quaint.
connection.
Ah, my soul!
And that's why I'm flushing my Gillette razor.
So if it's a local call, does that mean I get on the internet for free?
How do you function in the real
Not
world,
exactly.
newbie?
Your phone call is free, but you need to pay an internet provider for access to a PPP connection.
PPP.
Now, because there's a lot of demand for this kind of service, you can probably shop around to find a deal that suits you. Since you live in a big city, you'll probably have a choice of national companies or smaller companies.
So
This
what
makes the
kind of
jetpacks in Moon
services
City's
should I look
future
for
from
in
the
providing?
50s seem plausible.
Email, Do you want to look at all those news groups?
Yes.
Do you want to download files into your own computer?
Sure.
You
Want to lick an CSI drive?
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah, the full meal deal, huh?
I had to watch Meet the Feebles because of you jerks. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy.
Look for one that gives you a variety of plans.
Even though it's
Some
futile.
providers limit you to a certain number of hours per day, then start charging per minute if you go over that. Generally, it's better to get a plan that allows you a certain number of hours per month, like 60 or 100,
Or
and
live in
complete
between.
flexibility as to when you use them. And find out how many phone lines your provider has and how many users. A
Also
ratio
inquire about
of
their
10 to
pets and how
15
many
users
Macaulay
per line
Culkin
is a good
movies
rule
they've
of
seen.
thumb. But if it's much more than that, you might find yourself sitting behind your computer listening to a busy signal.
That'd be frustrating, wouldn't it? Now, let me get this straight.
They're
A
called
provider
Apple
gives
Jacks,
you
but they
access
don't
to the
taste
internet.
like apples.
But what happens if something goes wrong?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
How loud can you scream?
Technical support is very important, especially when you're starting out. Most companies will offer you some level of support, and
But
a
only if
good
you pick the
provider
true
will
Ark
tell
of the
you how to
Covenant from this
configure your
room.
software.
Choose wisely.
Many will also offer you a starter kit when you sign up that is all configured and ready to go.
And packed to the gills with
If you're
bloatware.
having problems getting your computer, your modem, and your software to work together in perfect harmony, ask around.
Ask
You
around!
might have a friend who's a technical
Ask around!
or your internet provider.
Ask around!
Might have a
Ask up, and get down!
And make sure you're hooked up correctly. And remember, no matter what provider or what hardware or software tools you use, the
Someone will
content
explain
on
at
the
length
internet
why
is
you've
the
picked the
same.
wrong ones.
Whoa. Gee, it's the only way to travel.
But why is my underwear on backwards?
Oh, and I can see in ultraviolet
that was
now?
fun.
Yeah, must have
Is that
taken a shortcut
normal?
back. That was great.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say congrats on 100 riffs. Or rather, I would be saying that, if not for the fact that staticky jerk you work with asked Fat Grandma to say it, so get bent! Well, by the way, when are you going to release that food fight review that you had me...
We'll return to the Rangoon's 100th roast thing after something else.
This is Mrs. Charles Jackson having after-dinner coffee at Allen Carpet. We enjoy doing business this way. No, Mrs. Jackson, you sit right there and we'll bring the carpets to you. Yes, these are the carpets we buy by the mile. So you can save on every yard. Mint.
Thank you.
Have coffee with us and get a real carpet buy starting at only $3.88 a square yard. Sure, you save at Allen Carpet, but we like to feel we do a little more for you.
Welcome back to the Isle of Rangoon's 100th trip. How have we lasted this long celebration? With an allotment of special guests, like, for example, David A. Scott Jr.
I never got my Goosebumps tape back.
And once again, still, here's the mysterious malefactor.
Sure, welcome back. Let's check in on our guest of honor as we hit the halfway mark on this cyberific riff.
Ooh, static guard. Oh, yeah. Wonder if I can buy this in bulk.
Well, right. Get back to riffing the crappy Canadian computer classic dingleberries.
All right, now. Let's see.
You ready to go?
Yeah, you
ready
bet.
to get going?
You ready to stop this
now
awkward
close
improv?
This internet window and get you starting right from the beginning.
Okay.
By inventing
Okay.
the computer.
Now you've got your
Good
program
luck.
manager up there.
This is what happens when I just start up my computer, right?
That's right.
I'm
Okay,
used to
now
more
open up your
sparking and
internet
fire.
Program group.
Open up the, it says internet.
Double click.
That's right.
There you go.
Good boy.
Don't tell
Have
me,
a treat.
Don't tell me.
Right.
I'm going to open Trumpet Windsock.
That's right. That's your TCP/IP program.
You're having
It's
flashbacks
like
to
the
helping
same
Meemaw get her
Windows
new
environment.
computer working.
That's right.
Take
That's what
a
makes
drink.
these programs so great to use. They all operate in a friendly Windows or Mac environment.
What about
Okay.
Linux?
So
I will
click
gut
on
you like a
Dialer,
smallmouth bass.
Dialer.
Log in.
Log in.
Ooh.
styling up all on its own.
This takes me back to a callow youth of pirated Sierra games and spinning hamsters.
Watch what's on your screen.
This dancing rat's gonna pop up. It's really funny.
It's answered?
That's right.
So I'm on the net?
That's right.
And it looks like you already got an offer from a Nigerian prince.
Dial up, log in, put in your password, and make your PPP connection all automatically.
Yeah, that's a Canadian accent. In real life, it's actually pronounced.
Minimize that trumpet windsock program.
Minimizing.
It's always got to be running in the background while you run the other programs. So there are your icons for the other functions. What do you want to do?
How about that World Wide Web place?
Honey, where do you want to go on vacation?
Well, open up Netscape.
I don't know.
That's
Earth.
the net browser that we're going to be using today.
Okay, it's opening.
And you'll see it's taken us right to the Netscape homepage.
Netscape paid dozens of loonies for this product placement.
Now you'll see at the top there, it says Netscape, welcome to Netscape.
Starch, if you're bored in Canada, are you bored in real life?
Are the various
Yes,
commands.
unless you make the
Underneath
fortitude
that is
save.
a toolbar of the various functions.
What are these buttons? What's new? What's cool?
Predecessors to Twitter's Moments tab, nobody asked for or uses.
What's cool?
Sounds good.
Who? Oh, yeah, I remember them. One of them offered me Swedish fish once. Well, I pray for them. Because, yeah, they need it.
Now, everything in blue type, or with a blue box around it, is what's called a hypertext link. When you click on one, it will take you to another page at that website, or to a completely different website.
With a 28.3% chance of leading to a Rickroll.
And your interests when you're browsing. And I see you've taken us to the homepage of Federal Express.
Yes, renowned 90s internet hangout FedEx.
Track a FedEx package. You'll be able to follow your package's journey.
And somehow it'll still arrive in the 20 seconds you step away to take a whiz, and the driver will just leave a note.
That's great.
Now there's a hell of an ad for FedEx.
So
should have tossed him a few more loonies.
Not at all. The World Wide Web, like the internet itself, reflects the spectrum of human interest and endeavor.
And fetish.
You know, it used to be totally uncommercial. But because there's so many easy and intuitive ways to move around, and because millions of people are getting hooked up,
it's basically Deadwood, but with more casinos.
Information Boulevard.
Well, let's take another journey, huh?
Sure. Now, isn't your wife Helen interested in art?
Yeah, when we're on vacation, she's always dragging me to some museum or art gallery.
And I pray for the sweet release of death.
The Louvre.
Let's go.
Now, that's a site I like to return to again and again, so I've saved its location in my bookmarks section. So click on bookmarks.
I'm gonna need you to ignore 60 to 73% of that list.
And we're at the Louvre.
You blatantly are not.
Hey, fun fact, this site still exists, and it still basically looks like that. No, for realsies.
Oops, now I have to go to confession.
Yeah, we get it.
Yep.
C'est bon, c'est magnifique.
Is that more racist or less racist because he's Canadian?
Do all browsers look like
What?
Netscape?
Well, they're all a little bit different, but most of them allow you to perform the same internet functions.
Having sending Jim over to do that crossover was an unforgettable experience. Because I keep finding yellow fur everywhere.
Some of the other popular browsers include Cello,
Gone,
Mosaic,
dead,
Air Mosaic,
Air dead,
WinWeb,
kaput,
and MacWeb.
victim of planned
The
obsolescence,
Chameleon package comes with a browser called Web Surfer.
wiped out,
And OS2 Warp comes with Web Explorer.
crushed in the boulder trap of progress.
Netscape is one of the best and most popular browsers around and is available for PC, Mac, and Unix workstations.
Oh, so us
There
Tandy
is a
users
commercial
are
version
SOL
of
then?
Netscape available. Because the people who develop Netscape are continually updating it, you can download a version for free from various computer sites around the world.
With a 50-50 chance of improvement or crippling failure in every instance.
Around the world, isn't there a danger of catching one of those weird viruses that could nuke your computer?
Like
Yeah, there are a lot of
hexadecimal
nasty
or Agent
viruses out
Smith.
But you can protect yourself by getting the latest in antivirus software using something called FTP.
FTP?
Yeah, you know me.
File Transfer Protocol.
I knew that.
Say you're looking for lyrics to a song you can't quite remember. Maybe you want to find out the latest research on global warming.
Maybe you want to erase your existence from the Interpol database.
There are thousands of computer systems around the world that let you log in and download files right into your own computer using something called File Transfer Protocol, FTP.
Ooh, good thing for that
Since you're so
fade. A
worried
few more
about
seconds and the
viruses,
camera would have
I'm
gone
gonna
up her
show you
nose.
FTP by getting you to log into a site that will allow you to download some useful antivirus software. So the tool we're going to use is WinSock FTP.
Nice.
So open that up, and you'll see a window at the top of which says Session Profile.
The following section of video contains information that has been deemed fundamentally unsafe by the Department of Homeland Defenstration and has been censored for your safety. Please contact your local magistrate if you experience any of the following symptoms: headache, nausea, black light sensitivity, lateral spleen, muscle aches, night terrors, vertigo, woe aqualung, hysterical blindness, TV VCR repair or get your degree, bandy legs, the vapors, unreliable narration, imbalanced humors, Canada, or inability to see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So click on OK.
We now return you to your snarky prattling already in progress.
That window, you'll see messages that tell us that we are connecting to McAfee.
We're just about connected. Yeah.
Transfer complete. Okay. Now take a look at that window. On the left-hand side, it says
Is the
local
way in
system.
which we pass the
Those are
Dutchie.
the directories and files on your local system. On the right-hand side is remote system. And in
Far
this
too remote to
case,
make an
it's a
effective
list of
demonstration, so
directories
we'll
and
blow up
files
Alderaan
at
instead.
McAfee. The top half of that window gives a list of directories. You see that bin, DEV, etc. The one we want to go to is pub because that's public files. So double-click on that.
We're heading for the pub.
It may be the Sahara-like dryness of this, but you get the feeling Newbie is sending out feelers for an affair
And at
here.
the very top of
Is
that
this how
is
you
a
think
subdirectory
mammals
called
flirt?
antivirus,
Lame
and
jokes,
that
trying to
has
seem
all
smart,
the
being
antivirus
stymied at
software
every turn.
programs. So
It fits my
double-click
ears
on
of
that.
careful observations.
Is your test subject
And
perhaps
now you
your
see the bottom
roommate?
half is filled with a
Maybe.
list of software programs.
You might
Now,
need a bigger sample
scroll
size.
through that because there's a particular antivirus program. There it is, Kill Monkey.
Ah, she gets her
Download
software from the same place Strong Bad does.
Name for its creator,
And
Thaddeus Q.
It's
Killmonkey.
being transferred to our system.
Great.
Now
It's
you've got a
easy.
brand new antivirus program. Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Hey, you
and
gonna install
safer,
it?
too. You know what I want to do now? I want to send some email. I've got this brother-in-law, Frank, and it's always email this, email that. I want to send him some email. I even
My
have his
contempt for
email
my wife's
address.
interests and
Very
family
good.
knows no
Okay, well, what we need
bounds.
to use is a mail reader program. And the one we're going to use today is called Eudora Mail.
Young
So click that
Samantha
open.
wanted ever so to
You'll see
enjoy her
along the
time
top
at the
there,
school, but
there's
her
a list
teacher
of
was the dreadful
commands,
Eudora
and what we
Mail,
wanna do is
who
send a
hated
message.
children,
So click on
whimsy,
message,
and typos in the
and
SMTP server name.
Now, on the to line there, you'll see the cursor is already there. Type in Frank's email address.
Lord
Underneath that is the
Dongmaster
from line, which
at
has my email address, my
CompuServe.net.
computer system. After you've put in Frank's email address, move the cursor down to the subject line and fill in a short subject header. Then move the cursor down to the message
your
area and
legs
start writing your
off.
message.
Great.
The exchange of electronic mail, or email, is probably the most common activity on the internet.
And
Sociable
the third
users
least
like
shameful.
to read and participate in news groups, which are kind of like electronic bulletin boards devoted to an incredibly wide array of subjects, from astrology and gardening and punk rock to particle physics, sports, and zither playing, and everything in between.
Hi, I'm afraid the mistress can't come to the camera right now.
Tell that Dago Wookie and his blue ball to fuck right off!
She would love to take part in your cameo, but...
I'd rather shove my face into a paper shredder and feed the remains to crabs!
So, yeah, as you can tell, she would love to be in the cameo, but she doesn't want to. But Teddy's available if you want...
There are over 12,000 active news groups and counting. Now, most internet software packages
all
come with a
Bigfoot?
newsreader
The Bigfoots
program.
have their own news
And there are
group?
lots of good
I know it.
freeware and shareware programs that you can download using FTP. Now, really sociable users can become junkies for something called Internet Relay Chat, or IRC.
Which is 36% more efficient than human contact.
It's used a lot for serious international conferences and business meetings, but it's also become the internet equivalent
of a
late
monkey
night
house.
coffee shop.
Or you will never see your lawnmower again.
His first net-based interaction with
click on
another
the
human
send
being
button
is
and
to
Frank will get it
threaten
in
them.
minutes.
This bodes well.
Yo, Jen, maybe you shouldn't have let him
His
use your
email is
account for
fine.
that.
Now, are there any neat websites for my kids?
There's lots of great stuff for kids.
They like
But it's like
Spider-Man
television.
impreg
You should be
videos,
careful
right?
what they get involved with on the net. Now, I saved a great kids site in my bookmark section.
And Toei instantly has filed a claim against this video.
There's stuff about their favorite TV shows, games.
Which
lots
white
of
nationalists,
educational
game
things.
YouTubers are willing to go to bat for.
This is great. I wish my daughter was here. She would
Newbie can alter reality with his mind.
Sarah.
I've never been more terrified.
Making that thing like a pro. Just click on anything blue that interests you.
Okay, your vision isn't based on movement, so she's not a T-Rex.
Fine,
Now, I
here's
know
your
you're having
$20.
fun, Sarah, but have you finished your homework?
Ain't paying me for dialogue.
Whoa. I wish it was this easy at home.
To make
You
your
know, I think
daughter
your son
disappear?
would really enjoy
Should we
this
be calling
NASA
the police
website.
or Mounties or whatever?
So would I.
Now, if I can be serious for a moment, did you know that padding is the #1 cause of injury for riffers and trails only quote miners lung for YouTuber injuries overall?
Padding lacks vital joke nutrients, forcing the riffer to draw upon the stored non sequiturs and skits required for strong bones, proper liver function, and a shiny pelt.
Ah,
The hell? Did we just tap into Newbie's gimp fetish?
I think it's the prototype for the cornflakes homunculus.
Enjoy 10 seconds of 100 pixel real media after a half hour's download.
Where do you want to go next?
You know, I don't know how to ask you this because I don't want to embarrass you or anything, but...
Too late!
You know, is there anything on the web about, sports?
Newbie,
Oh,
you are getting
sports.
exponentially more
Sports sites.
unnerving to
Which sport
witness.
did you have in mind?
Hockey.
Yep,
this is Canadian.
Why is every page a plain gray slab? That's not mid-90s internet. Where's the eye-searing bright green text on a black star field?
Where's the animated gifs of fire and that lady who flashes you?
Where are the auto-playing MIDI files?
Where's the web rings?
And what about goddamn ring pops? Where's Gritty when you need him?
Right behind you with a bloodstained knife, like always.
Oh yeah. Hey Gritty.
A delightful abomination.
Why would you go to a webpage about Iceland? What's there to know? They got Bjork and volcanoes. Boom! Just saved you a click.
I didn't mean...
Okay, it's the mid-90s and the things you look up online come to life. I've been a patient amphibian thing, but I'm not made of stone. Come on, newbie. Make with the Cindy Margolis.
I don't think that would fit with the video's target demographic.
What target demographic? Amish apostates and chemically induced comas?
Serious again. This year alone, 36 amateur riffers were hospitalized for padding-related illnesses.
Heck, this film alone dissolved my sciatica to paper thinness, and I can't even be sure if either of us have legs.
Consider the poor riffer, forced to subsist on meta-jokes like the line before, and give generously, won't you?
Parents, this is what your kids see when you're doing things like dabbing. So don't.
This has all the production grandeur of an Olsen Twins video. Ooh, someone picked the wrong magic kumquat.
Oof, that's scraping the bottom of the reference barrel.
Look, we're 26 minutes into a video of people typing at a computer. I'm running on fumes and I've barely got a skeleton left.
I'm going to do a little surfing tonight.
Hang 10, newbie. Oh, gee, newbie, you forgot your books?
So, having tasted the fruit of the tree of knowledge, Newbie saw his nakedness and fled in shame. Jenny was similarly enlightened, but she was self-confident and had it going on, and thus didn't flee into the night like a wiener.
I don't remember that from the Bible.
It's from one of the apocryphal Canadian Gospels, the Testimony of St. Horton.
I'll allow it.
Star Trek Voyager, the gateway to spewing bile about your fictional disappointments online.
Web rings full to bursting with Neelix fan pages.
This list doesn't contain joecartoon.com. Something is seriously wrong here.
Kids, don't ask your parents. Damn it, we paid for Surf Rock Guitar Instrumental number 3, and by God, we are going to get our money's worth out of it.
Oh, this is taking forever! His bug is to click like, subscribe, donate to your Patreon, and be done with it, video.
Nah, this is the 90s web. We gotta sign their guest book. Potato Flake Wrangler?
It's the snow.
Snow's potatoes in Canada?
Wait, watch for the sequel, Cyber Surfin 2. Who are you trying to kid?
What's that got to do with potato snow? Or as I have now dubbed it, Snow-tato.
And there went my sciatic. Tsunami Productions, washing away everything you know since 1993.
Makers of fine technologies made by only the smartest unicorns.
Freedom!
Let's cheese it!
Well, wasn't that a thing you just watched? 6 years, 100 riffs. Can you believe it?
Actually, yeah, I can.
You can?
Sure, I mean, we never had any huge expectations getting into this. Get some cameras and gear, cough, legally, cough, acquire, cough, some editing software, find some unintentionally funny movie to review or shorts to riff, and throw it out on the howling void of the internet, letting the fortunes fall where they may.
And I think for this thing that's kind of been the cosmic background radiation of our lives for the past, 7 years, we've done pretty okay. And I think we still got lots in the barrel for here on out.
Provided the Republicans and venture capitalists don't cause the complete and total socioeconomic collapse of society.
Oh, Natch.
Sorry, I'm still kind of new with this, race thing. You guys are seriously positive about this, right?
Yep, all good in the hood. People seem to like what we do, and we like what we do, so we're going to keep on doing it.
And we've made people laugh. I think that's kind of important.
And almost all the time on purpose, too.
And there's been some great memories over the years. We've made friends, gotten to work with some brilliant and hilarious people, met so many folks from around the globe. There's people we respect and admire who are willing to read the silly lines we wrote for them.
Are you two breaking the meta-narrative?
Oh, that was Flinders years ago.
Fair point.
And we're supported by wonderful viewers. Not to get all saccharine, because I can only ingest 50 milliliters of any sort of sweetener per month since they took Plexafrine off the market, what with the instances of inverted kidney. But really, they've been a huge part of keeping us going. We've had some rough times, but people have stuck with us, and that support has been a buoy. So thanks, everyone. Really.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And who knows? Maybe we'll hit another 100 riffs in 7 years.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't exist without this whole enterprise, so thanks, everyone. So we, got a snappy ending for this, or...
Celebration! You're a little bit better and ready for some celebration!
And I still can't pronounce Spokane correctly.
Hey, Pipples! Did you like that bit of nonsense? Well then why don't you click like, and subscribe, and press that bell, or whatever YouTube wants you to do?
You can also do us a big solid by joining our Patreon, where you'll get to join us for live streams, get early access to the newest videos, and other such things.
Did we forget to script bits?
I think we forgot to bitch about this part.
Oops.